This championship left to go, and fingers crossed.
After losing the chance of but I feel like he's got it, with choice. It really depends on, when he got whitelisted. So like if he was whitelisted before him, he could have that choice. The gate is loading on now, and we'll get to see.
All right, here we and do a little bit of fun stuff off to the side. What did you do?
I'll just set the controller down and be on my phone for a little bit, just kind of waiting, or just talking in Discord or whatever to my friends, just whatever, not really riding.
Gets full shot. Let's go racing. Launching off into turn number one. It's a drag race. TJ and Cam both have noses there, but it looks like Cam's going to get pushed out and go down.
They're both.
It all to do again. So we talked about gate selection. Cam does elect to go with that more middle gate, 11 or so, and he gets bit by it. He had a nose in there. I think he maybe actually had his goes to the lead over Brad. Is very keen to get third place in this championship over Chase. Again, they finished third and fifth in the first motos, with Chase getting that P3. So Brad has the work to do to try to keep those points in main. in the 3 spot.
Right now, so he doesn't have, it's not too much of a distance to get up to that podium, but with TJ slowly moving forward towards Brad, it's challenging for him, and he might be a little worried.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see how Cam manages this. Of course, he knows TJ isn't leading the race. I'm sure that is true, but whether or not he knows how far he needs to get to kind of maintain the points where they were is going to be a different story as he peeks down the inside of Neon, but not able to get it. Meanwhile, Steiner had another crash and is back behind these guys even, so a couple more positions gained for Cam. He's got all the work to do right in front of him as Brad leads TJ, KFC, then it's Chase, Coltrane, Neon, and Cam. All right.
Really secure a good shot at the title. He just has to catch up to TJ, who's sitting P2 right now, so he really just has to get up to P3 to be really happy with it. As Neon tries to go down the inside to get past Coltrane, and unfortunately Cam was there and he didn't see him and ends up taking him down. Kind of things you have to, be wary about when everyone being almost first-person riders here. It's kind of hard for them to see time, and I was going to have to reset, and now he's back here with Dizzle.
Yeah, that was a lengthy crash. Bike just kept rolling down the hill, one of the worst spots to crash, and a spot that we And once again, this moto almost feels like it's playing out the exact same way we've gotten used to. TJ, at least in some semblance, battling for the lead. Cam with more work to do to get through the field. It's battling for the lead. Cam with more work to do to get through the field. And lo and behold, Chase, somewhere in the middle of both of them, working his way up to a battle as Brad over the bars. And then
Going to be a struggle, especially as things start to spread out here. He's not able to make many passes in one lap like he was last moto.
with the way that we saw the gaps established in the first moto, obviously there was kind of like TJ and Cam and
He tries to, force his way up forward, as he does have a little bit of a gap between him and Neon up ahead.
yeah, battles had all around the track, like you said. Cam working on Coltrane, Neon still right in there behind Brad, KFC, and like this exact same thing we had in the mix. Cam was a little bit further up, but it just feels like we're playing the same movie over and over again. And I have to imagine Cam's going to find a way to get back into this picture once again. I just don't see how he hasn't totally shot himself in the foot here. Despite a crash, he can still see basically everybody but the leader is still right in front of him.
He's lucky being 9 minutes into the moto, so he has plenty of time. Like you said, he could see everyone ahead of him all the way up to Chase, his P2. Just a little bit of gap that he's got to worry about riding on his own and trying to find the pace that he had in moto number 1. And we'll see what he could do here, through this rough track or through the track as it starts to get more rough.
Yeah, I mean, this track is already looking quite gnarly it's getting.
Yeah, definitely a sketchy racetrack. Like we were pointing out earlier, it's not getting too rough on the faces of the jumps. It's all in, the corners and the ruts here. And, that's where it will catch all these guys out trying to push it every lap, like they have been. And just one time it won't hold you, or it will have a bit of an edge and it'll just kick you wrong. So it's something these guys have to be wary of. 6 second on Chase, and it's not something that Cam probably wants to see here as he's still down at P6.
Yeah, Cam has got to make some time up in a hurry. That gap. His time to shine, if there ever is any. Goes down. Brad's going to get back by him. So TJ and Chase, again, this is starting to look like we saw in the first moto. Chase consistent enough to keep into Cam's hand, just waiting it out, like I said, with these guys to make those but then Neon goes down as well. The outside here, can Brad?
Yeah, it's definitely close. Down the inside goes Kissy. Brad left him the line there. Now yeah, it's definitely close. Down the inside goes Kissy. He's gonna square him up. Go outside here. We'll see if he's square him up on the front.
You're going to be hating life with how deep some of these bumps. Being the best friend of Cam, because he's one guy who
just battling with Chase all the way to the end, and a few times an extra 2 points on Cam that he can get, maybe even 3 if it's for a win. So every point matters for these guys, and like I said, it'd bring it down to 9 as the way things stand. So, and with 2 motos to go, that would mean Cam can get, you have to be P2 in both of those motos to really secure it in that final round.
Yeah, you would need to do everything possible to make sure that TJ doesn't get close enough in the end. And yeah, Chase and TJ.
Chase always putting it. Compared to TJ's 50 points.
Lap number, whatever we're on, I don't know, 6 or 7, I think. TJ leads In second place, ChaseBlackSuspension.com is his name in game, so we'll just call him Chase B today. Cam in the 3 spot for developed in the top 5 positions here as we run out our top 10 for Moto Academy as well. Moto Academy running Katooms and Yamabogs out here. Dizzle, Pax, 11-12. Prizzy, 13th for him. 14th for Chris. Privateer Island Life out here, making it work for him, though, on the 44. A little bit of a gap back to Gooey. And then Ethan coming through. Looks like Webby and CYDN.
Don't follow or just the game not liking him. Who really knows?
Yeah, maybe Pibbs is his least favorite person. So, you know, Pibbs has done something to the game to make it so he can't get in.
Ooh, looks like Chase actually got into the lead because of
Not very close on the track. So where is TJ
actually looks
picked
like
up all
Chase
these
just went
cuts?
down.
Okay, yeah.
Crash there, so you know, he's keeping him honest, and they have
A little bit in the points once again. Cam hanging tough. Got this thing down under the 10-second mark, as you mentioned. We got kind of 3 separate things coming together, and it might converge in one hell of a finish.
hold on to a good lead or even stay up. Maybe just go a little bit slower at the
back through once again, and I just can't believe TJ. Every time we say good things about him, something else happens. And it didn't update. Now it seems like it's up. Yes, TJ, even though he's right behind him, 5 seconds back. So 5 seconds difference of cuts. I thought maybe Chase magically got a bunch of penalties or something in there, but clearly not. So now TJ even in danger with Cam getting closer of losing a position to Cam on penalties. And with 10 minutes to go in this race, you got to button it down if you're TJ. You can't let Cam points. So keeping it close is critical here.
Yeah, it looks like TJ has 5 seconds of cut, so
Don't know where he got all of those from, but yeah, that's not gonna.
Trying as much as he possibly can to put the heat on Chase to get back in the lead, and I think it's working. Chase is making mistakes. He jumps off track and gets back on just before TJ gets there, but he's keeping him honest. And it seems like maybe almost a matter of time before TJ can line up something to make a pass on him with how close he's racing him.
yeah, he's definitely, you know, he's got to try anything here. So he's looking probably for not too much quicker. Around the outside, TJ goes, and yeah, see just not enough pace in certain different lines to find him on almost the first half of the track or the second half.
This is a great race coming down to 7.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Chase versus TJ on track. As good as it gets, obviously with the penalties, it's out to 6.8 seconds, and Cam, keeping it as close as he can, is pretty much right behind TJ with that.
Guys I know don't run max HUD. A lot of them
On certain laps and who doesn't, and you know, most of these guys do end up fighting all
Cam on 1-3, of course, with Ty, Chase. Again, TJ has to respond, but Chase is just relentless.
So I don't think Cam will be too upset with this, because going into next moto, he just has to finish on the podium both motos, and he things finish the way they are now, because but then he also has to pull those 5 seconds on him.
That's something to think about. TJ needs these points. There's a couple other lines these guys haven't hit yet that are seen down in some sections.
Yeah, it's
On timing and scoring once it resets at the top here. But now, TJ, I guess, sprint as much as you can. Try to get this gap as open as possible and hope it works. He's going to go into the lead on timing and scoring once we get it to reset here in just a minute. But there it is now, 2.2 seconds. So he has to gain that time over Chase in the next 4 or so laps and still win this race, obviously. To get the 2-1 scores on the day, win the overall, gain the points that he needs on Cam in this mode.
consistent chases.
Yeah, Chase is actually, oh man, he's going to get the lead because TJ goes down. How bad could that be? Well, it looks like Cam maybe went down again, so I don't think he's going to get close enough to pass him as he comes down the that 4 or 5 seconds like we mentioned, and I don't know that he's going to be able to do it.
It's going to be very difficult.
Chase goes down hard. Sorry to cut you off, but he's still flipping off the track. Just gets going. That's a huge time loss, and he's going to get going in front of Cam rather comfortably. That might just be what TJ needed.
It looks like it will be enough time. We'll have to wait and see whenever they go off over the finish line here. It looks like TJ went off the track on his own, though, so that's going to lose him some more time. I don't know if it's enough, but it's going to be close here, and time does not expire, so he does get those 3 laps to make it happen if he's not far enough ahead.
All right, let's see what timing and scoring shows us as they come across the line. This time, TJ momentarily into the lead. Chase comes up. This time, TJ momentarily into the lead. Chase comes up. Open up over Chase as it sits right now to still win this race. Even though he's in the lead, those penalties coming into play. And total race time is a little bit different thanks to those penalties. TJ's got to get a move on. He's got to lap Prizzy here. Guess he was probably trying to lap Prizzy, and that's when he went off the track, but a little mistake right there. Consistency of Chase once again paying off. Man, that was a golden opportunity for TJ.
Yeah, I think Prizzy was trying to go outside there to let him have it, but they were just too close together, and it forced him. Nothing on purpose from Prizzy. Just and if he could even stay ahead of Cam if he makes a mistake trying to do so.
Yeah, this is going to be, oh my goodness, so tight at the finish of this race between the gaps. TJ's dug himself a hole with the gaps, but he's trying to dig himself slowly back out of that hole and still win this race. Cam is still sitting back there hoping these guys squander this opportunity amongst each other and give him a chance to get up there. But now the 2-lap board is going to come out, and we're going to get much that time has come down. Like you said, 0.7. Last time it checked in. Back to Chase coming over the line. It's probably about the same.
Choices. Chase gets hung up by Prizzy just a tiny bit there, but he's able to get around him now, so that's gonna, cost him a couple tenths. But he's able to get around him now, so that's gonna, cost him a couple tenths. But yeah, I don't see TJ pulling, pulling and see here for him.
This is going to come down to the nitty gritty in the end. It makes you wonder if he did this championship, but he's trying to win a few more of these races.
Those couple missed rounds, he has a decent shot at bringing into the title, but you also got to think TJ also missed round 1, and he's back in the fight for a title, championship here towards the end of this thing. So a lot of these guys miss a couple rounds, and TJ makes another mistake, and now Chase is going to close in here. I think that might seal it here on the last lap.
Yeah, unless we see another late crash here from Chase, which sounds unlikely, but you just never know. It does seem like TJ may have just finally put this one to bed. So down through the rhythm section, just finally put this one to bed. So down through the rhythm section on the final lap of the race. It's like Trey, get outside right here and let these guys go. TJ, another big bobble hitting that main inside rut. And I mean, shoot, Chase is going to maybe get this thing close enough to try to battle him. takes the overall win. Comes the line. Coming in third is going to be Cam. He'll tie Chase on points, maximum points on the day, basically, but ends up second overall. Does gain a crucial.
Definitely, bring it in. He was a title favorite, but like you said, having to miss those couple rounds due to real life things. Into the motos with his speed.
He's certainly playing the role of sport. Busy trade. Dizzle, a strong P11 result for him as well. And looks like just a few more guys still out on track, but what a day of racing here at Matterley Basin. And we'll talk to our podium. Hear what they all have to say, given the way that this championship dynamic has played out, and how much the race ended up being a loss for our championship players in the end.
Yeah, I think I did see it towards the end of the moto where, TJ kind of went invisible for a second. So a lot of those cuts might have came from, his internet. Of his cuts, and that might have ruined him at a chance of gaining even more points on Cam here.
Certainly a tough break and frustrating, especially when you're in a championship fight, to have that happen to you. Can understand his frustrations if he doesn't join us, but if he does, we'll still get a chance to hear what he thinks about this championship picture. 12 points down going into the finale. Again, your winner, Chase. In the motos against Oles and Gooey and almost caught Trey at the end. So, hey, dubs up for that, because I wouldn't have been able to do that. I'd probably be 3 laps down, and you were only 1 lap down, sir.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm starting to turn into a Supercross specialist. I'm starting to notice I'm way better at Supercross than I am at Motocross. So I'm looking forward, as odd as it is to say, to end our championship and get on moving on to the aerial Supercross again.
Yeah, definitely Supercross specialty known to run in your family. So we're sure of that as well.
Yeah, no, and plus just
Cam second, Chase first, TJ third. And Cam says he wants to hurry probably because of work. So
Yep.
all right.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
do Cam first then.
All right, we are joined now by our second place finisher on the day. 1-3 scores. It is Cam. And hey, you kind of did what you needed to do today. Pretty much put this championship into a spot where it's almost unreachable for TJ.
point where the track just, you couldn't push anymore. As you saw me, Tyler, and Chase just crash for the rest of the race because you just couldn't push it anymore.
Take us through the third or fifth or so really quickly. What was going through your mind? Like, was it an immediate rush?
To not lost as many points to.
Yeah, we were also trying to theorize, especially during the first moto, like, you probably know the math of the championship and how things are shaping up. You knew TJ was probably leading that race, but it seems like, and you kind of mentioned it, like you had a calmness to it at a certain point where you're close. If things play out, you got this, but if not, I'll take the second. In the end, you do win the race, but did you kind of realize, like, hey, this is
I made a push to about maybe 10 seconds back or something. 8, I think it said, something like that. And then, yeah, the track was a little bit too hard to push from that point, so I just kind of, which I wish I didn't, because if I hadn't set for third, the two leaders crashed so many times. The two leaders crashed so many times. There's one point where it went down to like 18 seconds, and I looked.
you were almost right on him. Win with the way TJ's penalties worked out. So I was wondering if you
On this week because he cross jumped me and cost me about 15 seconds. Who else? You know what? Myself.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you did it. You did the job. You put yourself in this position, and now you have a chance to win this title next week. So you should thank yourself.
Yep. I would have already wrapped it up if it weren't for Dizzle. Just saying.
Well, guys.
I'm trying to. One practice lap, and before that was last year's Nations that I rode.
And he would crash his way back to you. Was that a
Much what I was trying to do. He was making mistakes, and I kept gaining a bunch of time and then losing like a second. It kept jumping around a lot on the timer, so I'm like, okay, it's a matter of time before he eventually goes down. So I just sat there, fast in. Did that once in each moto. I'm trying to ride the rut high. If you ride it too low, then you clip your bars on the inside, and then you crash, and then it's like equally as bad because then you get stuck in all the ruts that are like 10 feet tall. So you have to try and like walk your bike out of there. But that sucked. That was miserable. I finally got around him. I'm like, all right, I'm settled in. I was just talking with the way that it checked out. Like I lost, right? That's just the way that it happened. But at the same time, I was conscious of it and thinking about the whole race when I was behind him that he had cuts. So I wasn't trying to go any faster because I was already ahead of him.
Yep.
So I'm almost thinking like I could have won by pushing a little bit harder, but I just hung around because I. And the scenes and attention for keeping me nice and planted tonight. We're starting to pick up traction a little bit. People seem to really like it because I seem to be the only suspension guy that's actually released good stuff on their website that I actually use, unlike other people. But if you need any actual suspension tested and proven, not just by me, by actual. Boys, this series is fun. I hope Dizzle will bring.
That is round 11.
I see. Yeah, probably can because these past 2 weeks, past four motos, it has been just those three on the podium, and it's just I was looking at the championship and Chase the 17 motos that he's been able to run with us. He's only finished off the 17 motos that he's been able to run with us. He's only finished off the podium 5 times, and with TJ, he's finished.
The finale of the 2025 AOMX FXR Championship in MX Bikes. We'll be with you guys same time, same place, live here on SYS TV. Can't wait to call the Dizzle Town. Thank you guys as always. Of course, big thanks to FXR, FXRRacing.com, and everybody that makes it possible.